every week we record the whole session. So when you go home and you forget about something or the description of the homework, you forget about it, you can just open the video. It will be uploaded on YouTube and like listen what the teacher said about the homework. What should I do? That's it.
Oh, yeah. Well, so much instruction. I hope you will not be confused so much. So let's begin, right? So I will probably repeat some of the things that you mentioned, and then we'll try to do less talk, and probably we'll try to do some exercise so that you feel how this is working, right? So what is HTML? I hope you all maybe have submitted the assignment before you coming here, right? And what was the assignment? Can anyone just tell me a brief, like what was the assignment? Because I don't know.
Yeah, it was just some introduction to HTML and CSS. So we worked with developing a page where we can put some basic HTML, and then we started with the CSS.
Okay.
Some tags.
So you all got some introduction or hands-on that how to write some HTML code, how to write some CSS code, right?
Yes,
at least. Is there anyone that really haven't tried? No one? That's good. So then it will be easier for me to actually just to say something. So, and basically we will show after a while what is the, in 3 weeks, what do we try to achieve it. So you will have some clear idea what is the end goal. After the week 3, how much you have learned, so you can conclude that. But before that, we just want to just say what is HTML. So basically, HTML is a document. You can like say is a page where it's a way to you can share with some other people, right? So and then in a page there's some structure, right? So HTML is a document. It has some structure and unique way to display some content. So you display this content and then the rest of the world see it. That's basically it. But then we will talk about what is the structure and how we are defining the structure, right? And also another important element that you, whenever we, so if I say a page or a document, right? So in computer you store the document like what? Like a file, right? And file has some extension. What type of file it is. So HTML has an extension called .htm, .html. These are the two types of extension, right? You can use any of them. Doesn't matter, right? So remember that HTML is a document, and then you just have to have extension, and there we will write some structure and some information just to show this information to someone else, right? The page we just have seen bbc.com, right? There are a lot of information there. So how the structure look like? So structure probably you might have used this one, right? Yes. There's some something like in bracket, right? What are these? Can anyone say that? Tags. Tags. So basically, when there's some common vocabulary also we like to introduce to the class. So and then we just use that one, right? Instead of like document, instead of like a page structure, we will be using the keywords that is known, and then we use as a reference, right? So these are the tags, right? And then how the tags look like, how you recognize the tags. Tag. So it's something like some shape. But one important thing is that in HTML, tag has the opening and tag has a closing. That's important, right? But this opening and closing can be two different types. One is like you really mention the closing tag, and another is like self-closing tag. It just close itself. You don't have to declare it. Like for instance here. This first one, we didn't actually close anywhere. If you just look at the, oh my bad, it should be, so see the arrow typo, right? Basically look at the head, right? Head we are starting here and then just closing here. We're declaring, defining it, and it's really important. If you don't do it, sometimes the website will break, sometimes it will not. This browser these days are a bit smarter. They try to, fix your errors, some cases, right? And then here is body, here is a HTML, right? So this is the type of tag, and we'll be introduce a lot of tags in future along the course. And just to give you the basic bare minimum thing, you should always remember. So all the HTML page look like this format. I mean 100%. So here you define a tag, and what is? Can anyone say this? what is this one? Is it familiar?
Documents type HTML.
What is it? Yeah, I can read it too.
That is browser which
It's
kind of
declaration that the
HTML
document-
I'm gonna use.
Is saying that we are going to
It's a
use
declaration.
I think you are almost all are correct. That's nice to hear that sometimes people knows this tag, but this definition is not clear and it's not that important. But I'm just it's nice to know. So basically, I mentioned there's HTML is a document, right? And you save this document file with HTML and HTML, right? But browser doesn't bother about this type. Browser want to see, okay, if I am rendering, what browser do? Render something. Render means it try to read it and then display their own way. It's a unique way they have some. So when they try to read the file, so there are different types. Can be they display PDF file, text file, a lot of files. There's one category also HTML file, right? But in HTML you can also say that okay, in HTML I'm not writing HTML, I'm not writing also some other thing. So in the beginning we are declaring this HTML. So basically browser should pretend this entire document should be an HTML. I don't care if there's something else. Probably I ignore it. I don't have to bother much, right? So this is the information. If you don't do it, sometimes the browser is smart today, so they can try to acknowledge it. But here also one important element there, we also can define a version. For instance, now we have a HTML5, right? But in future, if the HTML6 come or 10 comes, something like that, but then the tag or information or this syntax could be different. There you have the possibility to define the version. So browser also can say, okay, this is the version 5, this is version 10, so I should interpret that approach, right? And also please ask the question if something is I'm saying a complex or bullshit or whatever it is, just interrupt me. So this is the way, right? And then in HTML, so you write everything in between this tag, right? And then we have two sections here. One is head and there's body. So head, what is head?
It says the name of the website, but it's gonna not appear on my page.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can write the title of the
Yeah.
document.
So basically, if I just say head is the configuration, right? Something like if you have a mobile phone, you go to the settings page, you do something, right? But it doesn't actually show you. But it's the way this mobile phone behaves, something like that, right? So it's the way that website should behave if something is configuration. You really don't want to show the audience, but it's needed, right? So we write information there. So here is we also write meta tag. We also write a search engine query stuff like to make this page available to the search engine. Many other things. We also define scripts. We also define dependencies. A lot of other things. But then we have a tag called body where we write all the information that we want to show to the world, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I think you already have written this, but probably the description was not known. Yes, please.
It's not good. Can we enlarge the
Yeah, definitely. I think this way probably is better.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if I write a paragraph inside the header?
Inside head, it will not. I think it will not work. Then browser probably will try to render the page. Other browser probably will not render the page. It will just break.
But it wouldn't show on the page.
Some browser, I said, probably they know the head should contain what kind of defined tag. If you write paragraph, probably they try to ignore it. Actually, I haven't tried. Ignore it, then they render the page. But also, it can break a lot of your intention. Like the search engine will not recognize your page. It will be a really bad experience. They will not try to, it's not nice to have. For instance, yeah, definitely you can also have a broken phone, right? With the display broken, but it's still working. But is it nice? Not nice.
Guys,
Okay.
you know what search engines are?
Yes.
Okay.
Chrome, Safari.
Yes. Any question to it?
No, I think it's okay.
Was it?
Search engines are Google.
Yeah.
You have Google and everyone else, which we don't care about.
Yeah. So was it informative or you just knew it before all of?
I think it's informative.
Okay. Let me know if something is not informative, so we can skip to the valuable thing which you have might known.
Yeah, if you not write the head part, do the computer show as error, like you have
not mentioned the head.
I think it will not render. The
Yeah.
page will not be rendered if you don't
No,
have
while
a head.
running the code, whether they will show us like you have not mentioned the head.
Yes.
block.
The best way, I think, it's not me to answer or neither of our mentors. Best way is do it yourself and write a
think I
code
understand.
and then execute on the browser. That will tell you what it does. This is the best way to learn. It's not. I'm not discouraging your question. You always ask this question, always, right? But then I'm also telling what's the best way to do it. Instead of giving me something is like a statement, right? I'm not the best person.
I think I understand
But-
what you're asking. You're asking if you get an error message, if it's missing.
Yeah.
And this is a really good question, and it's a key point because you don't. And it's a good valid point. So I make the perfect HTML. I put everything there. It's perfect. It's mwah. And then I forget a closing, slash.
Right.
Yeah. And the whole thing will not show. And so you will come up with these maybe you already did when you solve your assignments. It's not working. Why it's not working? And you don't see. It's not telling you why. You just have to find out. So yeah.
Do you have like the declared HTML5 in the doc tag there, or
Oh, it's default.
like the
Default
browser
is HTML5.
Yeah.
It comes from the HTML5. Before we didn't use this one, and there we can also declare some other information property. We call it properties, and there's some version you can declare, and then some other better information.
I would like to ask about the footer. So it's not necessary to add the footer after body.
No, footer is always part of the body.
Body, yeah.
So basically, this is the bare minimum and primary structure should have, and then footer, header. These are the semantics tag we will be using in this area. Yes, and
There's something about the head. If you don't put the head inside the website, it will be read, it will be normal, but it will be just the HTML that I showed you about. What I did in PPC, I just deleted the head, so the website, it's just HTML without CSS. Why? Because we link our CSS files and our JavaScript files inside the head. It's like the brain of the page. You don't see it, but it's functioning everything. Without the head, there's page, but it's not functional. That's the problem. But you can do it.
okay, again, let's not bother much about this theory. Theory is always boring, right? And then most of the thing I'm saying probably I'm wrong because I don't have to remember them. It's not important. This is the less important thing ever, right? Okay, try to do some maybe fun. So just an example, how does the with the content, right? And with the structure we have. So we are declaring HTML and the page, and then in header, what can be a tag, a possible tag. Here you have more than these tags. So, and then we have some information, and then probably these tags also probably known to you. I don't know if it's not known, probably we'll give a walkthrough. And then these are some information that way look like, right?
Yeah.
So I would say just quickly, do this and then see how does it look like in your machine, right? And then one important thing, and then we are here 3 people, and try to raise, get help when you start, right? We are there to help you anytime. But before you do it, I just want to introduce some tools. Maybe it's nice because how many using any editor or IDE? Do you know how many does know that what is editor and IDE difference? How many doesn't know?
No, I don't know.
Doesn't know.
doesn't know.
Okay. Let's give a quick introduction to this one before you just jump to this one. It's also important thing. So while you try to write this code, right, you need something to write it, right?
Yeah.
And then definitely the tools you need it, right? There's a 2 different type of tools. One is called editor, and this is called IDE, the short version. And then if you just elaborate it, it's called integrated development environment. So what is the difference between these two? One is like text editor, where you can write any type of information, like a notepad. It's very commonly known, right? Notepad, you type information and then you also save. While you're saving, you can also provide the extension, right? With dot something. You can say dot JPG even from there, right? It will not stop you. But then for our case, it's called .html. We write this way, and this is the structure, right? So there, if you write it, then probably you will not get this color. you will not get if you're making error, making some. It would be nice, right? If you're writing some code, it gives you some. If you're doing error, it gives you some hint that okay, this is some error there. And then if you do the indentation, if you can do it very easily, a smooth way, this help you can get it from IDE, right? Not from text editor.
Okay.
So text editor is like plain thing. It's a multi-purpose generic thing where you can write something, and then the IDE is like your guidance. It will help you to write a better code, error-free most of the time, and then you can also do copy-paste. You can increase your productivity, right? And then IDE is very common to use. I think you should always be using IDE for IDE is the best example is the VS Code, Virtual Studio Code, which is a Microsoft product, and this is very good tool, and it's free. And there are a lot of IDE are also for commercial use. You need to buy a license, but we are not going there. And then and you can feel free to write in any tools, whatever you feel like, right? And then don't focus on the tools. We'll be using tool later on, the better one, right? If you have the VS Code, I recommend that you use the VS Code. Otherwise, you write in anything, but just remember with .html or .htm, whatever you choose, right? So try to write this code and execute on browser.
Who doesn't have anything to write a code in?
One more time, please.
I think
Who
we
doesn't
will
have
we'll
any-
take a round. It's okay. We just go there.
Yeah,
and
just-
anyone have an issue? Just seek for help. We'll be here. And in 5 minutes.
So now we can use the Visual Studio Code.
If you have a Visual Studio, use that Visual Studio. It's nice.
Should we use a portal?
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, you can actually.
But if you have a Visual Studio, use that one because it's also like getting used to the tools.
Visual Studio.
But we don't have a
This is the
visual.
best one. In the end, we will use just this one.
Is it in
So if you start from now, this is
Visual Studio.
here is a note for everyone. During the course, when we start JavaScript, we will be using VS Code like almost everyone. So if you start using VS Code from not today, from the next class, it would be nice. VS Code has features which can help in the studying. It has something called share code. So if you are a group of 3 working on a project, you can work with each other from home. So not now, next class. Do you have further for it?
Can you just check if somebody is using? If they're using a notepad, just try to help with the tool ID, VS Code or something.
Okay.
Can you just use not the web one?
You have a
Notepad?
Not the web tool.
Okay.
VS Code or something text.
file and save as and save it in a folder. Guys, try to be organized, so everyone make a folder with the name of the course and the name of the week.
Is not the name of
I have Sublime.
No. Just stick to it. Simple one.
So you don't have to close all of this, right?
Maybe do that.
New file. Yeah, but here you write week 1 .txt. You should have written week 1 .html. So if you please comment this.
Yeah.
I was trying to, I have to
Yeah.
write
It's fine. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I just checked the
And week 1,
Abed,
for example,
there was a really good question here.
.html. And try to do it without any spaces.
When she
So
finished
if you have
writing
a
the code, how will
try
she see
to
it?
delete it.
So maybe you could tell it to go fast.
just not now.
No,
Later.
you just save
I have some different intention to do this one exercise.
Right.
It's like, we have to say that,
There's something
there's supposed to be able to, so you have to say this.
I think you end up with this in the browser.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Basically, the way everything
So if you click enter,
The problem is Windows extension is high.
Yeah, it's not,
file as well. Yeah, and don't enter this. So you have to write this one, no? The whole thing.
It's 2 more minutes, be quick.
Well, you find on this name now, but there is no HTML. But it's saved without the thing, so you have to save. Usually what we do, we start by saving the HTML file, then we start writing, because the code editor will explain something out, it will highlight it for you, it will be easy. Yeah, that's it. It's the type of the character. I think we talked about it, but there is a different type of character. So if you are in Asia, you are typing Arabic, so different things. Yeah. So then
Okay, so time up. Let's guys.
so you
How many managed to do it? How many did not? Let's say this way. Anyone still not managed to do it?
No, I didn't.
One.
I'm not
I'm
finished yet.
almost. Yeah.
But is there anyone that still don't know what is the task and how to do it? You're not finished yet, but you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
You don't know, right?
I don't.
You do, okay. Okay, let's actually this exercise it was not intended to tell you how this is working. It was just to verify that you have the right tool in your machine, and then you know what you are going to do. It's just basically about it, not doing this content and then writing this structure and then doing it, right? That's why. So I have just took a look around, and then everybody is using the IDE. That's convincing, okay? Only you are using some web tool. Now you move to IDE, right? Yeah, okay. So now I will also try the similar exercise, doing it together, and then just sit, and then after that we'll have a 5-minute break, right? Should you need a break before lunch break?
I don't think so.
I think we should have a 5-minute break
Yeah.
because otherwise it's
Okay.
another hour. And if anyone needs to go to the bathroom, get a glass of water or
Yeah.
anything.
Okay. So we'll just do it quickly and then take a 5-minute break, and then we come back and then we'll decide, okay? So let's do it. Don't go now. It's not a break now. Okay. Sorry about if I.
So just quickly and then we can have the break.
Yeah, let me do it first, okay? So I'm doing it and then see what I'm doing it, because it's important that how I'm doing it, right? So my machine is different probably than if you have a Windows machine. Don't confuse with that. So what I need a place to write somewhere, right? So I need HTML, CSS. Probably it's nice to create a folder. It's nice way to organize the file, right? You agree with me? And then I have this, terminal. Don't confuse. If you're not using it, then it's perfectly okay. It's my tool that I'm using it, so it's okay. There is always the intention I do from the beginning, from the scratch, so you see the flow. Sometimes you don't get it, but it's needed in the in future. So yeah, let's close this one. So this is our some space where we can write down some documents. So what is the assignment? We should create a page, and then with that information, right? And also it is okay to copy paste all time. You can do copy paste in your entire time. Is legal. Okay. So let's create a file, a new file. What should be the file?
Index.html.
Why is index?
Name, you could name it. Yeah.
Okay, I think something.
Yeah.
Let's not, because I want to introduce the index later on, not now. Okay, we are rushing for break. So here, right? And then what should I write here?
Document type.
I think I will take time to write it. So let's not. Why should I copy it? Right? Let's copy from here. Sorry about the cheating part. So I copy paste, right? And save, right? And then some of you asked how to, run the file, right? How to see it. So I saved it. Then I should go to my folder, that one I created, right? And then just double click on this one. It will default with by browser, because the extension help computer help to run the right program, right? And it's machine default. It's machine know it. So basically here, okay. Why is not the screen coming?
I'm sorry, but I think you're too fast.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think you're too fast for me, but I don't know about others.
Am I speaking first?
Yeah, because now I don't know. I'm still stuck at the Visual Studio program, and
Am I going fast with the tools?
it's
okay, just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if you have seen this one, that's fine. It's just to see that you have some tool. You can write some code and then double click and open something. That's it. That was the intention to do this task. Now we have a 5-minute break. Then we come back and then we do some more exercise. Okay.